The Strange Girl. Get yourselves comfortable, put your headphones on and turn up the volume high, and sit back and relax. This story got sent to me through Reddit. I want you to just enjoy. I'm not about to dry snitch, so I'm not using any names for a reason. About 15 years ago when I was a kid, I was hanging out with my sister and her boyfriend at their apartment. They had been fighting lately, so I was hanging around to lighten things up. Anyway, his cousin, I'll call him X, comes out of the back room and my sister gets all uptight and tense. See, X had been staying there all week and had overstayed his welcome. So she tells him that he needs to leave because she has to go to work, and he tells her that he's sorry but he's waiting on a ride to Detroit before he can go anywhere. Since my sister's boyfriend was no help due to not having a car, I offered to drive him the 30 minutes from Ypsilanti to Detroit. So I don't really know this lad, but X has always been laid back towards me, even though I know what kind of life he lives. So on the way there I figured I might as well get to know him better, and we start talking. Turns out that he owes my sister some money, and he had promised to get it to her if he could stay at her place for a few days. The reason he needed to go to Detroit was to pick up some work and drop off some stuff at a friend's place. So we end up in some shady neighbourhood on the east side. And we pulled up to this raggedy house, and there was some skinny, light-skinned man on the porch and looking at my car sideways. So we get out, and I'm introduced real quick, and we head inside. As soon as we get in the house, the smell of weed hits me full force, and I realise what was going on. X sees the look on my face and says to just hang out in the room, and they would go take care of some business, and we would get out of there. I didn't have much of a choice, so I sat down, lit a cigarette, and stared out the window. And this is where it got weird. I was looking out the window at the house next door. I swear I saw the same skinny, light-skinned guy sitting on the porch watching the road, but in a different outfit. And there was a tree in the way, and the smoke in the place was thick, so I might have been tripping a little, but I would have swore it was the same guy. I looked back towards the back of the house where he and X had disappeared, but I couldn't see or hear them, and I wasn't about to go creeping around a bando uninvited. Anyway, I looked back out the window and the guy was gone. That's when I heard a rustle behind me off towards the kitchen. It was daytime, but all the windows were blocked up, so it was dark back there. But I thought I saw this pale-looking, dark-haired girl. She looked about 16 or so, but I can't be sure. She was wearing a baggy black t-shirt and jean shorts. I'm shifty with women's age, but I remember thinking that she looked younger than me. I didn't say anything, and she didn't say anything either, but she seemed off. I figured that she was one of the people smoking off somewhere in the house, but truth to be told, she didn't look the type. I remember thinking she looked kind of sad, and was about to say something when she sort of shook her head and ducked back into the side. It was weird, but I was more worried about where X was, honestly. We couldn't have been there more than 5 minutes yet, but I was real nervous. This was not my scene, so I looked to see if the girl would come back, but she didn't. And I looked back out the window, and I don't know if it was a shadow passed over the house or what, but it seemed way darker than it did a minute ago. Skinny was back at the house next door, and X was with him too. They were talking like they had all the time in the world, and I was about to call out to them when a white service van pulled up. X looked uncharacteristically tense as a big, older-looking guy hopped out and began talking with Skinny. X was being introduced, but he looked kind of scary and dapped up Skinny and walked off down the block. I guess I was paying more attention to X than Skinny and the older guy, because just as I was looking back, the side door of the van opened up and the girl in a black t-shirt jumped out and started running towards the house. The older guy started to run after her and Skinny pulled a gun out of his back. I started to yell, "Hey!" but couldn't get the words out. I guess I'd been asleep at that point because X was shaking me and saying he was ready to go. Skinny was laughing and made a comment about me. I was disoriented anyway, so I looked out the window, but there was nothing to see. The van was gone, the older guy was gone, the girl was nowhere. I must have been really sleepy and just dozed off. I was embarrassed, so I just mumbled something about not being a smoker, and we left the house. On the way back to Ypsilanti, I told X I needed to stop to grab some gas for the car and a coffee to shake the cobwebs. He didn't want to stop and pointed to the bulge in his sweats, saying he had too much on him to take any chances stopping. And joking, I said I would be quicker than that pale girl. X turned white and jumped in his seat a little. I figured I must have passed a cop or something, so I started looking around checking mirrors. I know that I was asleep, so there was no way he could have got the joke, so I just thought he saw something. He was quiet for a few seconds, and then told me to pull off at the next ramp for a gas station. He was weird for a minute, but seemed to shake it off and change the subject. He told me that he had sold something to Skinny that had made him enough money to pay my sister back and pay me for my time. He asked me what I made in a week at work and offered that to me, but I told him it was all good if he wanted to get gas. He agreed, and after I had got back in the car and we were back on 94, he asked me what girl did I mean earlier. I tried to play it off, but he kept pushing me. So I told him about the girl by the kitchen. He laughed and said that I must have been asleep for real, 'cause there was only guys in the house. Thinking back on it, even though he laughed, he was really quiet after that, and we mostly listened to music on the way back. Later he gave me money to give to my sister and again thanked me for the ride to Detroit. He was a little awkward as I dropped him off, but I didn't think much of it until later that night. When I went to my sister's to drop the money off, I was giving her boyfriend a ride back to his house. When he asked me how things went with X, I started to tell him about the house on the east side. When he interrupted me shocked, he said he didn't think X would have taken me there, especially after what happened a few months ago. Apparently, X got picked up out there by the police, and my sister had loaned them the money to post bail. I was shocked that I never heard the story, but what he said next still gives me the chills. He said that X had been walking in the neighbourhood the night some girl got shot. The police were in the neighbourhood probably after shots had been reported, and had stopped him to question him about where he had been. X said he had tried to run because he had weed on him, and they took him in for that and to see if he knew anything about human trafficking on that block. I'm not going to lie and say I put it all together right there and then. But as I was driving home, it all came to me. The girl that I seen next to the kitchen, was that the same girl that got shot? The one who ran from the van? The pale-faced girl? Did I just see a ghost? X got locked up again soon after and got a chunk of time, so I never had the chance to talk to him again about it. And since he moved as soon as he got out anyway, that was creepy as hell for me. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like, subscribe and share. I have a Google Plus page that you can follow. I also have a Facebook page that you can like and follow, so please check them out. See you soon. Bye.